Hi everyone and welcome back to the GameSpot stage here at E3 2017. Joining Tamor and I is Yari from Housemarque. Hello, welcome.
Thrilled to be here.
And you're going to be showing us Matterfall.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, let's jump right in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double jump right in. What I can see on the screen.
Yeah, we're on the tutorial now. Yeah.
So, I mean, what's the basic premise?
So basic premise is in its core, Matterfall is a twin stick shooter, but we added a lot of elements from like platformer games and bullet hell games.
Right.
So it's like a combination of lots of genres.
Right. So these kind of arcade style games are completely your studio's jam.
Yeah.
Like this is what you kind of specialize in. I really like how you guys are kind of mixing up the formula because you've had ship shooters and now you're doing this. What were kind of your key inspirations for this game? I'm seeing this and I'm thinking of Metroid and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Metroid and like Turrican and like Contra and run and gun games like Gunstar Heroes.
Oh wow.
And like of course like bullet hell games like Radiant Silvergun and
Okay,
games
cool.
like that. Like quite old school inspiration.
Right.
So, what's the story? So, how is all of this able to happen, basically?
About the game story.
Yes.
Yeah.
You play as a Avalon Darrow, hired mercenary, whose job is to clear out the city about the evil red matter. So basically, the city has been built upon like this blue matter, and it got corrupted and took like those. You can see those red enemies there. So basically, your job is to clear them and save all the civilians from the levels.
So, can you manipulate the blue matter?
Yeah,
and
you
you have
can,
to destroy the red.
Yeah, you can actually create like platforms out of blue matter and use that like your advantage, like build up shields and like better platforms.
Right. See, the color stuff is just reminding me of Ikaruga quite a bit.
Yeah.
So did you play a lot of that to kind of?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And our like former game like Outland was based on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
polarity mechanic.
Oh man, I loved Outland
Yeah.
so much. What a
Yeah.
great game. Bring that back. But yeah, so can you talk briefly about the mechanics that you kind of got going here? Because you're a very mechanic-heavy studio.
Yeah,
You like
mechanic
that
heavy.
kind
Yeah,
of-
so basically you are this is like a shooter. You shoot with like a right stick, and then we have like lots of like secondary weapons like this grenade that we are using here, and then we have the smatter gun, the smatter jet that we are just used to explode those bombs there.
Right.
And you can choose up to 3 different augmentations. They can be like passive augmentation, they can be the weapons, but you can switch at free.
Okay, cool. And what kind of augmentations are available to you? What do they allow you to do?
Yeah, so basically the weapons are, you have this homing weapon called Seeker and Power Shot, that is like basically a piercing weapon, and then basic shotgun and the grenade launcher.
Okay.
Yeah, and the passive augmentations are like they are increasing your like dash explosion, and you can trigger different stuff and get extra health and better reloads for your secondary fires. So there's like lots of combinations that you can try.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously movement is a big part of
Yeah,
it.
movement
So
is a big part.
do you have the ability to kind of change the way you kind of get around?
Yeah, well, you have the basic double jump, but then we have this core mechanic called a strike, that you can basically strike everywhere. Like you just saw the striking through blue matter.
Right.
So basically, the strike is your like part of your core movement. You can stun enemies with it and kill enemies easily.
And that's what we're seeing
Yeah,
there. It's
that's
like
what
a
you're
head-on
seeing here.
dash style thing.
Yeah.
So basically, you want the player to use the strike as an offensive move.
Right. It's like you're basically turning, in this bit here, you're turning the character into almost like a ship when it goes back to
it's
Resident.
floating around and
That's really cool.
Yeah, and with the strike you can destroy all the bullets and
Right. And what about, how does the progression work in this game? Is it like a level by level thing?
Yeah, it's a
or
level
is
by
it-
level, and when you save the civilians, you get the augmentations. So basically, explore the levels and get the highest score.
Right.
per
But
level.
there's no like overarching world that you're moving between levels.
no,
It's just
no.
like one after the other.
Yeah, one after the
Okay,
other.
cool.
Yeah.
And I guess that allows you to do crazy things with like themes and
Yeah,
the way
yeah,
you build levels.
Of course,
and
yeah.
that
We
kind
have
of
we have like we have 3 different teams. We have the city that we are currently in. Then we have the second level is coming. It's hydroponics. It's a plant growth
Right,
place.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
With lots of like environment effect fogs and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Throughout playtesting, have there been combinations that you maybe haven't anticipated that people would come up with?
Yeah, there are. Yeah, because the different augmentations, when you put them together, you get totally different gameplay.
Right,
so,
right.
so there been lots of like tuning to get them right.
So one of the things that I'm noticing here is that your games are often, the longevity in them comes through the score chasing and that kind of stuff. How have you introduced that element of it into this game?
So basically, to get the highest score, you need to use the overcharge mechanic that we have.
Okay.
So every enemy that you kill and drop these blue orbs. When you collect them, you can activate overcharge.
Okay.
And that means that time slows down and you can kill the enemies faster, so you get a higher score.
Right.
So you just need to know when to use that.
Okay, and you anticipate that's going to be what people will be score chasing with?
Yeah,
on
if you want to get the highest score, you need to,
use
know
that.
how to use that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is there any sort of multiplayer component? to
No,
the game?
the single player only.
Single player
Yeah.
only.
But you have the leaderboards to sort
Yeah,
of.
leaderboards for like, they're like global leaderboards.
Okay, cool. That's interesting. So are we moving on to another
Yes,
area
and
of the
the
game
second
now?
level. This is the hydrophonic.
Hydroponics. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with this level? So how does this fit into the story of the game?
Yeah, basically this is the place where the oxygen is made for the city. So basically this is like layered city. You have first in the city, then you are on the hydroponics level, and the third place is the like mines, all like underground.
Okay, cool.
I mean, just looking at it, it's got an astonishing number of particle effects.
Yeah.
And I mean,
You guys love your particle
Yeah,
effects.
we
you
love
guys
your
do love your
particles,
particle effects. Was this more or less a challenge than in previous games? Because it just seems like there's so much more going on.
Yeah. Getting the clarity right
Right.
was a big job. So you can put some particles in, but if you don't know what's going to happen, what's happening
Right.
on the screen, so
Yeah.
that was a big challenge.
I guess, yeah, that comes. It must be interesting to try and balance that with the design of a bullet shooter style element, because those games are all about overwhelming you and trying to give you, making you find the small break in all the.
Yeah.
So how did you kind of balance feeling like a bullet hell shooter, but also making sure the clarity is there? And
Yeah, it was just trial and error and lots of iteration.
Right.
So
Okay, cool.
getting the color right, getting the particle amount right. and
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So do you know how long this kind of, how many levels there are going to be in this game, or is it
we are
something that
still,
you're still building?
tuning the difficulty and the level, so we are not yet
Right.
announcing the level.
Okay. Cool.
Is there just one difficulty level, or can you?
There's 3 different difficulty levels,
Right.
like basic, easy, medium, hard. But
Yep.
when you finish the game, we unlock this insane mode. That
Okay.
Then you have 1 bar of health and revenge bullets for every enemy.
Right.
Wow.
So it's a super hard mode.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like something I'll never play. But I'm glad you have it in there for
Yeah,
people who
it's
care
for the
about it.
hardcore players. Yeah.
So have you thought about whether people like in the speedrunning community are going to be interested in this?
Yeah,
It seems like a
they are,
very
because this-
speedrunnable game.
Yeah, this is speedrunnable game, and all the levels are built for speedrunning.
Okay.
So you can basically just dash through everything and try to kill everything on your way,
Right.
and
Okay.
you have the fastest time on the level.
It's cool. I love the way the side-on kind of like
Yeah.
games look like this.
Yeah.
It's reminding me of that. What's that Microsoft Shadow Complex a lot, quite
Yeah.
a bit. So I'm seeing it. Yeah, it looks super active. I love the kind of feeling. So you guys are kind of big into making sure bullet impact and that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is kind of like really felt. How have you kind of approached that in this game? It's easy to do with like a ship, but it's a little more tricky when you've got multiple things blowing up and you've got like
Yeah,
a
you just
gun. And
need to have a like good effect, good feedback on everything.
Right.
Like, all the like bullet hits needs to be shown, and yeah, when you get the damage, it's just about the feedback.
right,
Yeah.
right. Okay, cool.
Getting it correct. So basically, there we can see the civilian now on that purple crystal.
Right.
When you save that, you get the reward. So basically, you get the
Okay.
augmentation from those.
Right, and so is that the kind of like the end of the stage once you find the civilian, or does
No,
it like
they are like
carry
hidden,
on?
hidden
Oh, they're
on
hidden
all the levels.
around.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
basically, you have to find them to get
Right.
those.
Okay.
So now we have the seeker weapon.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How long is each level roughly? I think that first level is about 5 minutes, but I mean,
Yeah,
In-
the
I mean-
basic level is about 15 to 25 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
so I mean, like, how do you balance, giving players a good amount of content in one level
Yeah.
with like intensity, right? Because
Yeah.
it looks incredibly intense. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
it-
saying.
yeah, it
So
is.
how do you kind of make sure that players don't, I mean, burn out's maybe not the right word, but don't become over.
Burden. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
burden.
Well, we have like smaller moments, and then we have these moments where
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
enemies coming all around. So we are trying to balance that, putting some like high intense moments into levels, but then like just like basic platforming sections also. So
Yeah.
Right.
you're not constantly shooting everything.
Right. It's interesting. We're seeing the player creating platforms there. Is it always defined where the platforms are?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And
But you don't have to use them. They are usually you can like set up different routes with them. So
right.
Basically, you can just skip them or use them as the shield.
Right. Okay, so it's more about you can use them strategically to
Yeah,
kind of
strategically. Yeah.
create a wall between you and
Yeah.
all the bullets and that kind of stuff. Okay. Is there any kind of like puzzle solving element to this, or are you trying to
No,
maintain
no, just-
forward momentum? Which
Yeah, really streamlined action.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's interesting. And is that the same for kind of like the platforming elements of it? Because
Yeah,
you get
well,
tricky.
basically what we can soon see is that we have like conveyor belts and stuff like that, like basic
Right.
platforming elements that gives us the flavor for the level.
Right. Okay. Cool. It's cool.
Wow, Stargate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stargate.
Yeah, Stargates.
Yeah.
Right. And so, are there like boss characters? Because I've not seen any so far.
I think there's like little demi-boss
Yeah.
Yeah,
guys.
we have these
running
like
around.
bigger enemies, so that's the shield guy what that we saw and the bigger spider, but then we
Right.
have like 3 different bosses that are like huge bosses.
Okay.
So each team has their own boss fight.
Right. Okay. And is this exclusively for the PlayStation?
Yeah,
4?
exclusively for PlayStation.
Dang, no Vita version.
No.
Oh man.
Yeah.
My
So-
poor Vita
What's going on?
continues to
I
gather
just-
dust.
See, look, I was looking at this and thinking I'm really gonna enjoy playing this on my Vita, and then I
Yeah.
remembered, oh wait a second, what if it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's-
exist on the Vita?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but yeah.
So,
Looks
yeah,
cool.
there's the red matter that is like a crystal. That's the corrupted matter.
Right. Okay. So your role is to get rid of that essentially.
Yeah, get rid of that, avoid that, and destroy these red matter enemies.
Okay. So and we're seeing like enemies explode into a lot of these kind of little particle things.
Yeah.
Is that just an effect, or is that something that you'll be able to like use in terms of gameplay?
Yeah, it's just an effect. And
Okay, cool.
It basically reacts to player. It's just for the like eye candy.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
We're always on board with eye candy. We love a
Yeah.
bit of eye candy. This looks cool. What are we seeing here now?
Yeah.
Is it different types of enemies you've got here? So it looks
Yeah,
like.
different types of enemies.
So, what kind of different types of enemies do you have? So this
Well,
one looks like a quite a defensive one, which
yeah, defensive one
requires
that
you to
need-
get. A
yeah,
little more.
you cannot shoot it from it because it has the huge
Okay.
shield. So you can utilize the grenades that bounce or jump in the back.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
There you see it. Okay. So you're building. So how are the kind of enemies placed? Is this something that you've kind of designed an algorithm to take care of? Or are you kind of hand placing?
They're
all
hand
these?
placed. Then
Okay.
we have this like spawning system. Like you can see here, those arcade enemies. They are like
Yeah.
triggered by spawns.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
we have the persistent enemies that are
Right.
hand placed on the levels.
Right. That must make tuning the game quite difficult because you're never quite sure. You have this like
Yeah.
random element to it.
Yeah.
So is there a worry that there's a part of the game somewhere that just is incredibly difficult that you don't know about?
We've been tuned to this game like
Okay.
on perfection. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
How long have you been working on it?
Yeah, 2 years now.
Wow.
With the team size of maximum of 20 people.
20 people.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. Is this the only game in development at the studio, or are you kind of working on other things?
Yeah, we
in the
actually have the next Machina coming out.
Okay. Oh yeah, of
next
course.
week,
Next
yeah.
Machina. Yeah, that's interesting. Wow.
So
Looks-
there's the conveyor belts and stuff. and
All right. So
yeah,
that's
and
the
now
kind of like
yeah,
platforming challenge that
platforming
you guys.
stuff. Yeah.
So it looks very much like classic bullet hell shooters, where it's trying to overwhelm you, but not too much,
Yeah,
and
not too
giving you
much, yeah.
enough to kind of balance together platforming and kind of escaping through hails of bullet. And that's another. Is there an can you like miss a lot of these civilians? and-
Well, you can, but we have like sound effect and HUD elements popping when you're near the civilians.
Okay.
So we want you to find them, but they are usually behind some kind of challenge. So they are
Okay.
not
Yeah.
in the golden path.
So is it possible to kind of return to a level and
Yeah.
pick up?
You pick
more-
out of the missed civilians.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And you always know. You can see on the HUD on the top right corner that how many civilians you
Right,
have saved.
right.
So
Reminds me
basically-
of saving the teensies
Yeah,
in
yeah.
like Rayman Origins.
Yeah.
Little teensies going, help me.
What are those things that he's picking up? Because it looks like pies, but I'm assuming it's not pies.
Twice, you mean those blue orbs?
Yeah, the orange orbs that were kind of floating around.
Orange orb.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess they were enemies then.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was
yeah.
enemies. They were like hovering around.
Pies.
Right. They look like pies to me. He was just running at them, so I was
Okay.
like, this
For
guy
now
really
on,
likes
they are going to
pies.
be pie enemies.
Yeah. I'm sure you can go back to the studio and
Yeah,
rename them.
rename
Can we
them, yeah.
change these to
Pie
pies now,
enemies,
please? 'Cause,
So this is the classical bullet hell place that
right.
there's lots of enemies, lots of bullets. So this really you need to know what you're doing here.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've got a strict health system where it's like it's
Yeah,
not
like-
recovering, is it?
No,
Or is it?
no. You
So once
you
you're
collect like health orbs that enemies will
Right.
drop.
Okay. And what's the blue bar underneath the health?
Yeah, it's the overcharge bar.
Okay, so
so
that's
when
the
you collect
overcharge
those
bar.
blue orbs and it gets filled, you can activate the overcharge.
Right.
Yeah.
And every time he dashes, it sends out like a shockwave. Is
Yeah,
that
there's
an
like
augment?
dash explosion. It
Okay.
stuns the enemies, destroys the bullets, and it's just the easier way to get around.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to actually take a risk and dash at
Yeah,
bullets
yeah.
at
It's
times.
basically dash to the enemies. So
Right.
in its core, when in doubt, use the dash.
Okay.
So,
So it works as a defensive and offensive
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
thing. Okay, that's
so
really
you can dodge, but it's better that you dash straight to the enemies.
Yeah.
Right,
Get it in
okay.
close and then
Cool.
finish it with the guns.
And is there any kind of like chain combo system? I'm not maybe like
Well, no, not basically, but what we are going on the score mechanic, that you need to kill enemies fast. When they
Okay.
activate,
Alright.
be fast. On the killing, you get a higher score when you're killing them fast.
right. And is there like multipliers and that
Yeah,
kind of
multipliers
stuff?
there are.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. That looks cool.
So each difficulty has their own multiplier. So if you want to have the best score, you need to play with the highest difficulty.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
What's been the biggest challenge in bringing Matterfall to reality?
Yeah, because you've had a lot of experience with the PlayStation
Yeah,
4 now,
yeah.
so you
Yeah.
must have been.
Yeah, on this game, maybe defining the fun, because we have lots of elements. We have the platforming, we have bullet hells,
Right.
and so getting it to feel right.
Right.
It was like under lots of tuning.
Right. And I guess it must be difficult. There must be some sort of like thought about maybe people won't respond to every element of the game, because some
Yeah.
people like platforming, some people aren't bullet hell fans. Bullet hells are quite a niche genre,
Yeah,
and it can be quite stressful to play them.
Yeah.
So have you thought about how you kind of present that and balance that for people who don't like every element of
Yeah,
it?
that's why the levels are like usually like there's multiple sections, so you are not constantly getting the same thing. So it's not constantly the bullet hells
Right.
and
Okay.
constantly the platforming. It's like mix of those elements.
Okay. Where are we going to now?
Now we are going to the first boss.
Okay, so this is
Ooh,
the first.
alright.
So the,
Boss,
is this
yeah.
one of the big bosses?
Yeah, this is the big boss.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It's like a
Yeah,
Horrible
autonomous
wasp
hunter
thing.
It's a
killer.
wasp, so
Yeah,
I'm
wasp,
already
yeah.
don't like this one bit.
Is there a reason that the enemies seem to be very insect focused? I mean,
Yeah, it's where we draw the inspiration. So
Yeah.
they look like menacing, and who likes insects? So
Because insects suck. That's
Yeah.
why everyone hates insects. There's no one
Yeah.
out there that enjoys seeing a wasp.
yeah,
so
indeed.
I don't in real life.
Yeah,
They
I
are
mean,
usually the
there's-
best episodes of like Planet Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have
I
the
mean, there's
insect.
no good
Yeah.
scenario where someone's happy to
I'm
see
a
a
big
wasp.
fan of insects.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you are a fan of insects then?
No, not fan.
No.
No, yeah.
There's got to be someone at the team if
Yeah,
you're doing
yeah,
this
of
over and
course.
over again. But yeah.
Yeah. So
So this boss battle looks like a lot of
yeah, you need
pattern recognition and classic boss.
yeah, classic
behavior.
classic boss design.
Right.
So basically, you have to utilize your jumping here, your dashing here, and all the movement.
Right. And I guess all the bosses will be similarly. 'Cause do they
Yeah,
kind of account?
They are different. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So each team has like own boss, and it should feel like it belongs to that team.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Do they kind of, as you go along, account for, because all of these bosses are designed to challenge your mastery
Yeah.
of movement and shooting, that kind of stuff, but you have the opportunity to change some of that the way the way you upgrade and kind
Yeah,
of
what-
progress. So
yeah.
do the bosses going forward kind of account that you may have a different style of play and try and challenge that as well, or is it like the
Yeah,
fundamentals of each
Yeah,
challenge?
yeah, it's a fundamental. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So basically, you can try different kind of augmentation combos and see what's worked with the best with each
Right.
boss.
Okay, cool. This wasp looks like he's stressing me out without the amount of bullets. Like I'm already like I
There are
don't like
lots of
this
bullets
one
and
bit.
lots
yeah.
of striking.
Yeah. This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh wow. Is that it?
Oh no, no,
Oh
it's
no.
only about half
Oh,
hour.
okay, so
Yeah,
it's
half
like
hour,
multi
yeah.
phases and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna say that's very easy, guys. You need to maybe rework that one.
Maybe tune it.
Yeah,
difficult,
it's-
yeah.
I mean, our friend over there demoing it is probably an expert at this.
Yeah.
So
So
he's
he's
putting
been
on a
playing
good
a
show,
lot.
so,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah. So
Don't
we
be
are seeing a
surprised.
master at his work.
right.
All right.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow.
So the game runs actually on 60 frames per second.
Right.
Yeah. And
Okay.
On base PS4 or
Uh,
just PS4 Pro?
with both.
Both.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with PS Pro we have like a better, higher resolution.
High resolution.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And better like environment effects and increased particle count.
Right.
But the gameplay experience is the same.
Yeah.
Right. And is this a game that you intend on kind of supporting for a while with extra content and that kind of stuff?
Currently we have no plans for DLC.
Okay.
So,
So
let's
you're
see.
building as a fully formed game.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fully formed game that you can play from start to finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting. It's getting a bit busy now, and
Yeah.
it's stressing me out.
Wow, it's stressing you out.
Yeah, it's all the
There's-
particles. Like, I think
Yeah.
you guys need to relax on the particles because it's freaking me out.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
And he's gone. No, he's back
No,
again.
he's
No,
back.
he'll be.
I keep
Final
see
thing.
the health bar is just underneath the table, so I can't
Yeah.
see it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to stand up and be like, all right, no, he's still alive. He's still there. That's cool. I like the mix of kind of like platforming and how it's kind of diverting your attention away from platforming at the
Yeah.
same time as at the same time as needing you to actually attack the enemy.
Enemy,
Those are
yeah.
the things that get me, and it's the and it's the skill that you have to build to do it. Remembering to shoot
Build-
as well
yeah.
as
Yeah.
as
Same
well as
time as
save
jumping.
yourself.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the kind of a lot of your games are about that, like figuring out, trying to access different parts of your skill set,
Yeah.
and that was what Resogun really spoke to me. It was
Yeah.
one of the first games on the PS4 that I kind of got obsessed with. 'Cause it was like, it made me felt like I was becoming a better gamer when I was
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
you were learning by playing.
yeah. I think the skills that I learned from playing Resogun have transferred into many other games.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess I think I owe my Overwatch abilities to you guys. Yeah, my abilities to hit things are.
It's a good
all-
training platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you think people resonate with the leaderboard aspect so much? Because I mean,
Yeah,
like,
basically-
we have friends that just would be like, okay, yeah, other games coming out, but I'm still on Resogun. I'm
Yeah.
still gonna hit that
So
leaderboard.
I think it's the competition feel that you can be best at
Yeah.
something, and you see your progression
Yeah.
and how you compare to other players.
Yeah.
So
As a studio, do you guys foresee that you kind of you guys are keeping like the classic arcade game alive,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
obviously you're huge fans of it, but are you kind of
now we
like
can actually see an awesome explosion.
Oh.
okay, good, and it's the wasp
It's
dying,
awesome. Yeah,
so that's perfect for me.
yeah.
Like, do you guys anticipate you carry on making these? That looked insane, by the way.
Yeah.
That was insane. Yeah. So do you guys anticipate you'll carry on making these kind of arcade style games,
Yeah,
or are you
that-
building up to something that's going to be huge AAA at some point?
Well, let's see what's
okay.
coming up.
Do you have an ambition to do that?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, that'll be interesting to see in the future then.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
Cool.
much for joining us. When can we get our hands on Matterfall?
Yeah. August 15 on North America and August 16 on Europe.
Yep.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Guys, don't go anywhere. In a matter of moments, we're going to be having Metroid Samus Returns here on the GameSpot stream. So keep your eyes peeled.